Jacob is graduating from the O'Neill School of Public and Environmental Affairs with a major in environmental management. A member of the Hutton Honors College and a recipient of the Hutton Honors Rotation, he's also a Cox Research Scholar and a Founders Scholar. His time at IU has largely been defined by his work with student research and advisory organizations. He served as the inaugural co-chair of the Cox Advisory Council and the president of the 104th Board of Eons. He served 3 years with the IU Journal of Undergraduate Research and completed over 1,200 hours of business law research through the Cox Research Scholars Program. After graduation, Jacob plans to attend Duke University to pursue a master's degree in environmental management. Please join me in welcoming today's speaker, Jacob.
Thank you for that very kind introduction. And what a pleasure it is to speak with you all here today. Now, I wish I could tell you that I wrote this speech in a quiet, dramatically lit room, with a nice cup of coffee, and some soothing jazz in the background, but I can't. Instead, I put together most of these remarks at around 3 a.m. in the O'Hare Airport after a canceled flight left me stranded overnight. Now, I don't know about you all, but it is difficult for me to imagine many everyday places more devoid of hope and happiness than an airport terminal at 3 a.m. Writing from this backdrop certainly predisposes a message of a certain tone and outlook, especially given my own self-admitted cynical tendencies. Today, however, I want to resist that disposition and share a message of hope. Now, I do not want to speak on hope lightly, like it is something simple to find or easy to reconcile with current affairs. Jane Goodall, someone I admire deeply, once wrote that hope does not deny the evil, but rather is a response to it. Hope is hard. It takes effort, and maybe it's just the scientist in me, but I also believe it's difficult because real, lasting, motivating hope requires evidence. Signs that we can see, hear, and feel. So friends and scholars, it is with a glad heart that I say, I see evidence for hope all over this campus. I see it in the people seated in this room, in the work you've devoted yourselves to, and in the way you've chosen to show up for one another. But of course, being the thoughtful scholars and scientists you are, you'd never just take me at my word. So over the next few minutes, allow me to present my supporting evidence, and then you can decide. Exhibit A, Hoosiers are compassionate leaders with hearts for service. Dance Marathon, Culture of Care, AM, Gift of Life, HBO, KESM, Royal Encounters, Volunteer Corps, Hero, ABP, ACC, the list goes on and on. In fact, the list goes on for 323 organizations associated with service and philanthropy on Be Involved. 323 organizations. So yes, there is hurt and there is need in this world, but Hoosiers are answering the call. We are advocates, we are fundraisers, we are event planners, we are grassroots leaders, we are awareness raisers, and this, my friends, is reason to be hopeful. Exhibit B, Hoosiers are grapplers. Now, as a Hutton student, I took an honors seminar with Dean Greg Canada. And every time we approached a dense, centuries-old piece of philosophical literature, without fail, Dean Canada would encourage us to grapple with it, to sit with the confusion, to interrogate the text, to ask why and how, and then why again. This, my friends, is the value of a liberal arts honors education. And I'm glad beyond measure to look out in this room and see so many of you that saw that value and made the investment. The returns are already encouraging. I see Hoosiers all over this campus grappling with the world, asking difficult questions and not shying away from uncomfortable answers. I see it in the classroom, I see it in your service commitments, and I see it in the way you've stood up for justice, equity, and our own personal student voice. This is reason to be hopeful. Exhibit C, Hoosiers are already making a difference. Nearly every time I boot up LinkedIn or unfold the IDS, I see one of my peers achieving something incredible. I see another Hoosier who didn't wait for the paper degree, the full-time salary, or the swanky office to begin shaping a better world. Current Hoosiers are building startup companies to detect concussions in athletes, founding nonprofits focused on health advocacy, working alongside world leaders to bring about climate action, advocating on Capitol Hill, leading legal challenges to protect student voting rights, and publishing groundbreaking medical research. If this is what we are doing now, from our dorm rooms and unpaid internships, it is truly inspiring to imagine the good it will create from the swanky offices. This is reason to be hopeful. Now, when I lay out all of this evidence in one place, my conclusion is hope. But I'm sure not all of you can relate to that feeling right now. You're looking at the world outside these walls or on your pocket computers, and you just see too much on the other side of the ledger to conclude with hope. And I get it. Heck, I may have felt that way yesterday and may feel that way tomorrow. But let me leave you with two final thoughts. First, don't look to your TVs or in your pocket for hope. There are too many people with vested interests in us never finding it in those places. Instead, look to the people in this room and those that you know who display the qualities I've laid out here today. That is where hope lives. Second, I implore you to keep building the evidence. Whether you need it now or not, I can promise you someone in your world does. So Hoosiers, scholars, friends, never stop being the evidence for someone else's hope.